Welcome back to Be Relieved, where natural remedies and health science meet. I'm your host, Ashley Nicole, health scientist and founder of Be Relieved. Thank you all for tuning in today. Make sure you are following and subscribing to our channels so you are notified every time we release a new video. Today's conversation is one I've been deeply looking forward to because we're exploring something both ancient and scientifically profound, which is love as a biological force. We often talk about love as an emotion, a spiritual experience, or a relationship dynamic. But modern science now shows that love literally reshapes our cells, our hormones, our nervous system, and even our longevity. Joining me today is Joell Kepka, a molecular wellness expert, faith driven entrepreneur, and speaker who works at the intersection of health, cellular biology, purpose, and legacy. Joelle, I am so honored to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that amazing bio.
Oh, for sure. I'm just so excited for our audience to experience your work at our February 28th event. It's entitled Be Relieved in Love and Cellular Regeneration. A lot of people ask the generic question of, how are you doing? And I feel like it gives us a generic robotic response. So today, I just want to ask you, how are you healing today?
Amazingly. I can't wait to share more as we talk, and you'll find out why.
For sure. I think that is awesome. I can't wait to hear more about what we're talking about today. I've been so excited. I know as a health scientist, I'm just so fascinated by how emotions translate into biochemical signals. Like we know that feeling of safety, connection, and love, those feelings change gene expression, even immune signaling, and even cellular repair. So I really want to begin at the molecular level in our conversation today. So, from a molecular wellness perspective, how does the experience of love translate into measurable changes in the body?
Love is biological, meaning that it is a cocktail of neurochemicals going on. So, the five measurable changes when someone experiences love, it affects there's so many good things that begin to happen in the body. But we have nervous system regulation, we have hormone shifts, we have cardiac coherence, we have so many things going on. And inside of that, we have oxytocin levels coming up, right? When our bodies begin to come to this place, because love is basically, it's a permission slip for our bodies to heal, regeneration, and long-term health. And in that are these five categories of different things. I have my notes over here: nervous system regulation, hormonal shifts, cardiac coherence, cellular impact, and genetic expression. And feel free to add in anything that you want with your amazing health scientific mind. But that includes so many things going on in your body. You have oxytocin levels coming up, right? Which brings inflammation down. It brings cortisol levels down. It affects your oxidative stress, bringing that down. Your heart begins to start to beat in a more better pattern. Your breathing slows down to a healthier state. You have cells that begin to wake up and rejuvenate. You have your immune system kicking in. You have redox improving, which in turn improves the mitochondria. So many things. That's not limited to. So there's so many more amazing things. So feel free to add in more in there if you want.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think because when we talk about oxytocin, nitric oxide, and mitochondrial signaling, we're really talking about communication systems, right? That tell cells whether they're in survival or repair mode. I think, what role does oxytocin play in cellular healing, inflammation reduction? I know you mentioned that a little bit prior, and stress resilience.
It acts as nature's medicine for the body. So, as an anti inflammatory and antioxidant agent, it enhances the immune system. It causes resilience. It causes resilience to or enhances resilience to stress, should I say, which reduces anxiety, right? So, yeah,
Sure.
oxytocin plays a very major and critical role in the body, known as the love hormone, but it really does play a super critical role.
Yes. I know that research and a few researchers have known that oxytocin isn't just a bonding hormone, it directly modulates the immune system and the the name just left me. Autonomic nervous system. Yes. How does chronic emotional stress versus emotional connection affect cellular aging and telomere length?
There's a huge direct link, which science proves that people who are under chronic stress have the all the inflammation going on. Right, there's a direct link that the aging process speeds up. And their telomere lengths are shorter. And correct me if I'm wrong, but telomeres are basically, in a nutshell, the protective end caps on your DNA, right? And people who experience love and are in that environment and not under the chronic stress, again, science shows that the biological aging process slows down and their telomere lengths are actually significantly longer. So they have a longer lifespan.
Yes, exactly. This is where love becomes a longevity factor, not just a feeling. From your background in molecular hydrogen therapy, how does cellular hydration and redox balance influence the body's ability to receive and respond to healing signals like oxytocin?
The astounding thing about molecular hydrogen water, when I say molecular, it's different than just hydrogen water because molecular is microclustered. So it's very fast delivery into the cells and very fast absorption. So 1 8-ounce glass of this water holds the antioxidant power of several pounds of blueberries, and it acts as a molecular tuner, right? But not only that, let me back up for a second. It passes the blood brain barrier within minutes of drinking it. It also gets directly into the mitochondria. So it acts as a molecular tuner going in, and it actually repairs the most harmful oxidative stress in your cells. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? So, in turn, this is what brings in emotional balance, right? With all the things that are going on. And in turn, it also brings healing to sick, damaged, and diseased cells. The capabilities of it are astounding.
Yes, I
Yes.
believe it's because cells can only respond to love's chemistry if their environment supports proper signaling, right?
Yes. And so the way that it acts as a molecular tuner is it goes in and removes out all the oxidative debris, which in turn allows the body, as you were saying, for the cells to be able to communicate better, which opens up that healing signal for oxytocin to kick in, which in turn affects redox.
Sure. That's a great point. How do faith, trust, and perceived safety alter the nervous system in ways that promote regeneration rather than degeneration?
When our nervous system, I'm looking at some of my notes here, I'm sorry.
No worries.
So yes, the nervous system, when it's coming out of flight or fight mode to a more restorative state, again, that enhances our immune system, which it starts to bring everything into balance.
For sure. I think we know that the parasympathetic state is where repair happens, and love is one of the fastest ways to access it. In your work, how have you seen emotional healing accelerate physical healing at the cellular level?
Hmm, that's a good question. Relational and emotional isolation, it triggers very high cortisol, which in turn triggers chronic inflammation, which in turn triggers damaged cells. And
Mhm.
it's not a good place to be in.
I can see that. Chronic stress is just, I feel like chronic stress and sitting are like the new smoking. I spoke to another lifestyle physician. Her name is Dr. Ann, and that's one of her sayings is that sitting is a new smoking. And I feel like I wanted to add the chronic stress because it's like both of them are bad. It just shuts down the body in so many different ways. Like you mentioned, the immune system for sure, but oh my gosh, I think this aligns with psychoneuroimmunology, which is the study of how thoughts and emotions shape immune function. Even our thoughts and emotions can influence our body to go into survival or repair mode. I think that's very important to highlight.
Yeah, and not to bring myself into this, but you saying that triggered me to think about my son when he was younger, very young. He's almost 18 now and doing amazing. When he was 6.5, he got diagnosed with severe asthma. He was always sickly, never knew what was going on with him, but I decided to go the natural way. And so at 6.5 years old, before that, even a couple years before that, I could say, okay, like make your bed and go get out a pair of clothes. And he would just fold up literally like a wet noodle. And I, I could not understand why. I had a daughter who's 6.5 years older than him. And that's all I had to compare him to, which now I know as being older, you can't compare your kids. They're so different. But come to find out, long story short, because of the asthma, not only was it environmentally induced, but it was also induced by food. So with it going on so long before he was diagnosed, it affected his nervous system. And so when we did the cellular hair DNA test through micronutrition and homeopathy, I found out that his nervous system was lagging behind. But then, everything started clicking. It's like,
Mhm,
oh, that's why he can't handle very much.
mhm,
It overloads him because his
mhm.
nervous system was so just overstimulated and lagging so far behind. So yeah, it made me think of that.
Yeah, I totally agree and relate to that as well. For me, it was the same thing. My nervous system was lagging. I was not aware of it until I got older and kind of started doing things on my own. But even in high stress situations, there's two things that come to mind. I am a preacher's kid, and we were in church one day, and they called on me to sing like a solo in church, my very first time. I was a younger child. And I stood up and I just saw everyone's eyes looking at me, and I'm like, and just ran away. And then also the second situation is when I'm in trouble. Just the intensity of the emotion or disappointment or whatever I'm experiencing, I would pass out. And my mom kind of was a little fearful of that. So we went to the doctors. They did a lot of MRI tests. I'm like, she's normal. And that stuck with me. So when I got a little older, I'm like, I'm still like that. I may not pass out, but I do get overly stimulated when there's so many things going on, and so I realized, like, okay, I have to work on my nervous system, also work on my emotional state, and yeah, all those things, so I definitely relate to that, so I had to do a lot of work even in my own holistic natural journey, also using some medical tests and things to kind of validate or lead me in the right direction. So I definitely relate to that too. Yeah. So what does science now reveal about how relational trauma or emotional isolation can suppress immune repair and mitochondrial function?
Well, molecular hydrogen is so antioxidant rich, right? And it is a very therapeutic gas as well, but it's non-toxic to the body. It doesn't build up in the body and it doesn't cause any problems with any other healthy functions going on in the body. So having said that, it is, and with it being so highly absorbable and so chock full of critical minerals that our body needs, it's an amazing, gentle, powerful, yet effective tool in fixing those issues.
Yeah. I think this helps us understand why connection isn't optional for health, right? Like it's actually essential.
Absolutely.
How does molecular hydrogen support oxidative stress reduction? And why is that important for cellular longevity and regeneration?
Repeat the question one more time. I'm thinking deeply here.
Sure, no worries. How does molecular hydrogen support oxidative stress reduction? And why is that important for cellular longevity and regeneration?
Yes, it's a selective antioxidant, right? And it goes after I don't want to say oxidative stress. It goes after the most harmful free radicals in the body. And again, I mean, to make it in a nutshell, molecular hydrogen water is so good for the whole body from head to toe because of its capabilities of what it can do, because of how it can pass the blood brain barrier, how it can enter into the mitochondria, and how fast absorbing it is into the cells with what it can do with getting into the cells, scrubbing the cells clean. And it's a great tool. It's an effective tool to use to balance out everything. I've seen it over and over and over again with hundreds of men, women, and children that I have coached and how to implement molecular hydrogen water into their everyday life. Just seen millions of testimonials.
Yeah, me too. I've seen it work really efficiently in children, also in adults as well. But the recent studies that I've been seeing have been with children who have either cellular issues, maybe gene markers, maybe hereditary viruses that they got from their parents, and seeing it being reversed through this molecular hydrogen water. I'm always fascinated by it. I've been knowing about it since 2010, and it's definitely been helpful in everyone's journey that I spoke to about it. And so it's nice to see studies actually are out there on PubMed, seeing doctors, scientists do case studies and sharing those results, which I think is so important when you're doing your own research as well. And I know you mentioned that you weren't going to mention oxidative stress, but I wanted to mention that oxidative stress is one of the fastest accelerators of aging and disease. So if anything helps with minimizing that, I think that that's already a win, not even including all the other great benefits. Now, at our February 28th event, you'll be teaching on love and cellular regeneration. Without giving everything away, what shifts can participants expect to experience in their understanding of healing?
Well, for one, I think that, well, not that I think, I know that healing two parts. A lot of people just, they have symptoms going on in their bodies and they kind of jump to, oh, I need this, or I'm going to take this supplement or this herb without really knowing for sure if that's what they need or if that would be the best thing for them. Not only is it, needing to do things for your body physically, taking things to help get your body at optimal, but it's emotional as well. There's two sides to it. And, people who, I mean, we've all had trauma in our life, but people who are really going through it and haven't had or haven't gotten on that path to healing yet, it's two-sided. When you have emotional traumas and triggers and all the things, it definitely causes physical things in the body for sure. So it's definitely a two-part thing. And people when participants come, they're going to walk away being armed with deeper knowledge in things that they can do, tools that can help them. And, some people they run straight to the doctor, and that's okay. Medical doctors have their place, but just know that there's a whole nother world, a whole deeper side of it. I believe the Lord has put so many natural things here. There are many facets of his wisdom to help bring our bodies back to their original design, the way he intended them to be.
I agree with that. I believe God doesn't make any mistakes. So if he creates something, he creates the solution as well.
Absolutely.
And so I definitely believe in that too. I think I love what you said about being armed. By the time you are leaving this event, you'll be armed with resources, tools, even demonstrations and experiences that will help you at least manage or be in a little bit more control of your healing journey. I know for me, being a health scientist, my whole entire job description is to make sure that people are more aware education wise so they can advocate for themselves and ask better questions to these medical professionals. A lot of times I've seen people go in and informed, and so they're not asking questions. They don't really know what people are talking about when they're using scientific words. And that's why I like to use them so that way it's not unfamiliar when you're in these spaces. And I think this is truly about just helping people see their bodies as responsive, as intelligent, and designed to repair. For leaders, parents, and healers listening, how can stewarding love, peace, and faith in daily life become a form of generational cellular inheritance?
What we steward emotionally today becomes the cellular inheritance of the next generation. And I was on a training with my mentor on Thursday, and she said this amazing quote. I cannot remember who she said it was by. Shame on me, but I will never forget it. She said it and it will stick with me for the rest of my life. But, she was mentoring and she said, when we're born, we look like our parents, but when we die, we look like our choices. And it was just so incredibly powerful. So I wanted to share that.
Yes, that's a great quote. I feel like even in school, they don't teach you that what you eat today will determine your face at 40, 50, 60. So I feel like that's kind of similar in the quote, but that is really true. I think epigenetics shows us that emotional environments literally shape future biology,
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. We basically are what we eat as well.
literally. Yeah, and that's why we have to be more intentional about what we eat and also our hydration sources as well. So we can live much longer and also age a lot better. I feel like you can age with grace and really age well and still be able to have mobility, flexibility. I love seeing individuals in their 70s, 80s, and you can't even tell. They're like moving around without any ailments, pains, no knee replacements. Of course, people do have that story, but it's nice to see that it's not everyone's story.
Right.
And
Isn't
when I
that
do,
amazing though?
yes, it is amazing. And I love when I ask them, like, well, how? Like, give me some tips. And
That's what
most
I say
likely,
too.
it's the same thing. It's being intentional about what we eat and also being active and being happy. I think so many people talk about being happy and being stress free. And I'm starting to see that being happy does reverse aging. I know people always talk about anti-aging or how can we reverse it? And I think that those few things can help with reversing the physical part of it.
Absolutely. I was pondering too before this podcast. I was just thinking about everything and what I wanted to say. And I was just pondering and the fruit of the spirit, a lot of people say fruits with an S, but it's fruit. Is singular and is love. And all the things listed after that joy, peace, patience, kindness, self control, all the things, those are attributes of love. And I was sitting there thinking, okay, Lord, if your word says that you are love and the water is called the God molecule, would it be correct or safe to say that or be referred to as the love molecule? I kind of just had this revelation when I was thinking about it. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great revelation. I didn't think about it in that way, but it makes total sense. Wow. Well, I know that you are going much deeper into the science and spiritual integration at our free online event. So I'm super excited to hear more. This is a great conversation. Our free online event is called Be Relieved in Love and Cellular Regeneration. We'll be doing it on February 28th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys come. Put it on your calendar now. It's going to be live on Zoom. And we'll be exploring how emotional connection, nervous system regulation, molecular hydrogen, and faith based coherence influence healing, longevity, and cellular repair. So, first, Joelle, I just want to say thank you so much for bringing such clarity, depth, and truth to this conversation. And to everyone listening, I just want you to know that love is not just a poetic word. Okay. It is biological, it is chemical, and it is regenerative. Your cells are listening to your emotional environment every moment. So just join us live on February 28th for Be Relieved in Love and Cellular Regeneration and experience how science, faith, and molecular wellness come together to support healing at the deepest level. So that way, we can make sure our emotional environment is being managed so we can actually live longer and love better. So until next time, remember your body was designed not to just survive, but to regenerate. I'll put the link in the description below for the event so you can just register. And until then, be relieved.